going on, guys? We are here with another episode of Scriptly Adapted Uncut. We are back at LMC TV. My name is Kayode.
I'm Kay.
I think this is a big show for you.
Yeah, it's a huge
big show feel.
Yeah.
We got none other than Matt Sullivan,
Woo!
Dena Schumacher. We are talking about a film they did that we had the pleasure of seeing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Director, producer Matt Sullivan, editor, co-producer Dena Schumacher. It's going to be a big show.
Yeah.
So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned,
Don't go
right?
anywhere.
So, guys, tell us a little bit about, first off, Badlands Productions, where the film originates from. Give us a little history about Badlands and what it's all about.
The history of Badlands starts with my fascination with The Boss, of course, among other things. So the song Badlands, which I grew up listening to and loved and still do to this day, but it had a good ring to it, I thought, as a production company. And formed that at this point, God, I don't even know how many years ago, probably 18 years ago, I want to say.
Wow.
And just sort of used that as my production company as I was doing different films and music videos and commercials and anything that I worked on. Incorporated that really as a measure of covering myself and anyone who was on the productions, and sort of rolled with it ever since. But it really took off back in 2010 or 2011 when Dena and I met. And we started doing a whole bunch of fun things, and yeah,
Really?
And, we did everything from a fake trailer that was called Cannibal Carnival, which was really fun.
Okay.
And then we sort of jumped in on this, as we call it, the 3-picture deal.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think, are we past 3 now?
Are you past 3?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, you're past 3. Okay.
Why do I keep doing this?
Very nice. Very nice.
So we had Don't Be a Bear, Sobre Vivo, The Attic, and now Dead Air.
Now that is fantastic.
And actually, there was one that you were not attached to, which was called Imaginary Friend, that we shot in an old house about, and I shouldn't be telling you this because people may try to find it. I acted in this.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, definitely have to find this.
Oh, Lord.
Maybe it's on some torrents or something.
Is it in the attic? Oh.
No, the attic was different. Yeah, so
You
the attic
acted
was
in the
before.
attic as well.
That is
and
true.
The
You
Cannibal
saw my
Carnival
back.
trailer, so don't
okay.
pretend like you're not, you're not
too visible.
screen shy.
Very nice.
Awesome. Okay. So how did you find your actors, crew, and post-production team?
Well, the actors were found. We have a casting director, a friend that we've worked with, Lexi Progosin.
Okay.
And she casted this. She casted Sobre Vivo as well. So we did the casting process in the city, put different ads out on various websites, and we had people come in and audition.
Okay.
It was a pretty easy process, I would say. The easiest thing being actually Mickey Monstro, who's our lead, played by Frank DiRuggiero.
Yes.
He was great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
Really good.
He did an excellent job. Chris Lavinia, who's our writer and co-producer, actually wrote the role for Frank. So, we wanted to do a little casting, and there was a question that was raised about age, which was, do we want to go with someone who's a little bit older, or do we want to go with someone who's younger? And, I think we sort of played with this idea back and forth, but when Frank came in and he read for the role, it was just we knew like that.
Yeah.
This is the guy for it. And then as far as assembling the team goes, that was a matter of reaching out to people that we knew here from LMC TV, as well as people that we've worked with in the past, and new people as well. We made some really great friends and contacts, mainly Chris Fox, who was our gaffer and assistant cameraman, and also Nick Bowen, who did sound recording for us. Nice. And they were instrumental in the post-production process, doing our sound design and our music composition as well. So they stepped in and they did an excellent job.
But our go-to DP is Jordan Rennert, who actually started here at LMC TV and then created his own production company. He works all over, but like when we had a project, I think it was Sobre Vivo, we brought him in on, and he was just eager to be like, okay guys, what's the next project? So it was like a no-brainer to contact him again when we were doing Dead Air.
Awesome.
Well, listen, so Dead Air
I had a quick question
Oh,
though,
yeah.
about the music. You mentioned the music. All the way here tonight, we listened to Station.
Listen,
And we listened to their song
One and
One and
Only.
Only.
One and Only.
You know, I needed a little earplug in the right ear, but it was fine. No, but it was great. And so you mentioned during the screening they crafted these songs, some of them specifically for the film, right?
Right, so Danger Hole are very good friends. In Danger Hole, led by Matt Forte, Ken Estabrook, and Mike Forte, a local band in Mamaroneck. This is a band who's been together for many years, but through our interactions and friendship, they had expressed interest in working with us on the film, mainly through the soundtrack, but they also were able to apply their talents to the opening credits in the film as well, which were all optically shot. So these were not digital effects that we did. We laser cut all of the titles, put it on plexiglass. We had smoke come up through it and lighting in the back, and sort of superimpose that on other things. That was where the digital element came in. But they designed the opening titles, had a great time with it, did excellent work. But back to the music, they crafted 2 songs, and one of the songs my wife actually sang on. So that's the "Love You Till You're Dead and Then Some," which is Roxanne's song where she first appears.
Okay.
And just had a great time working with those guys and creating the songs. And then Station came along through Amanda Durante, who plays Rockin' Roxanne and is Badlands' go-to actress. Amanda's great. And she's been with us for everything we've done, but she did a concert for wounded veterans in the city at Arlene's Grocery, and Station was on the bill.
Wow.
Hadn't heard of them before, hadn't seen them perform. And the second that they started with their first song, I said, these guys are really good.
And I told you earlier, like when I first played One and Only, it reminded me of, well, Kate said it's Journey. She was like, is that Journey? So it had that like stadium rock feel.
Yeah, that's one of my
It's a big
favorite.
sound.
That was one of my favorite moments in the film.
It is, yes.
That's when he's
The
tying
fist pump?
his
So epic,
like,
I was like, yes, it was right on cue.
So
with the-
80s, like I love
right
it.
on cue with the music. I was like, okay, I'm in it.
We had a lot of
I'm
fun
digging
with
it.
that scene.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. But we've worked with them since. We actually shot a music video in the studio for them that debuted on Billboard.com. It's a song called "A Matter of Time," worth checking out. It's on YouTube or
Definitely
on
check
Billboard.com. And they're traveling right now all around, mainly the middle of the country. And we have another music video coming up.
That's awesome.
Sweet. So listen, speaking of Dead Air, right? We got to talk about this. Give me, what was the concept behind it? What fueled you to do it? What is it about? Give me some information about Dead Air, the film itself. So
Well,
our audience
Dena
knows.
got dragged into this,
She did.
reluctantly, kicking and screaming. I'll just throw
Normal.
that out
Okay,
there.
that's
And you
okay.
loved every minute of it,
Sounds like
didn't
the
But it started, right? It started with Terror TV,
Terror TV.
which is a show that we produce that, if you want to talk about Terror TV, I know you love it so much.
Well, Terror TV is like a very similar show to what Elvira was. You know, you have a character that's presenting old movies and then offering tidbits. So that's also written by Chris Lavinia.
Okay.
So it was on that set, which he and Matt had a conversation, which is also starring Amanda, who is she's our
our
go-to
All over
for
the place.
everything. We
Okay.
love her. She's
Yeah.
great. Because most of the stuff we're doing is in the realm of horror, and she too is a huge
Yes.
fan of that also. But while on set, they had the conversation of the what if we did this project.
Yeah, it started with kind of, hey, it'd be cool if we did a story that was based in a radio station.
That'd be
Yeah,
awesome,
and it should be on Halloween night. Yeah, and there should be a ghost involved. Just kind of like
That's how it
snowballed.
happens, though,
and that's
right?
and that's
Yeah.
how we came up with the
Yeah.
concept. And then Chris presented the script one day, and I read through it, and I said, this just checks off all the boxes as far as things that are, at least for me, very interesting and appealing visually. And it had a nice flow to it, and I said, we got to make this. And sent it over to Dena, and the rest is history.
The rest was it. Listen, it was Kay and I. We watched it. We saw it at the
Yeah,
Pelham
we
Picture
came to the
House.
screening,
Thank
and
you for
it
being
here.
was honestly, I was saying earlier that we just couldn't get over the fact that, because when you edit it down, some people just edit it down to say, oh hey, I've made a movie in 5 minutes, right? It's a 5-minute movie, but there's no cohesiveness, there's no beginning, middle, and end. And when I watched the film, it did not feel, I just could not wrap my head around the fact of how you did, it felt like a full feature-length film in 16 minutes. You did a great job at including a beginning, a middle, and end, but also leaving it open for possibly more
Exactly.
story and more exposition for people to be like, oh, well, I want to know more about this Roxanne character. I want to know more about, you know, this other character and where these people are coming from and the guy that's gotten tied up in the chair. What's his story? You know, that's what I was thinking too. I was a little intrigued about
Right.
him.
I was intrigued
Poor
about him
fella.
too. Yeah, right.
But yeah, like I just was so impressed. I was like that, you know.
It was crisp.
Yeah, it
Crisp
was
looking,
beautiful. It was
beautifully
beautiful.
shot.
The angles were great.
We're not just saying that.
No,
because you
no,
guys
it really
are
like
here.
Thank
yeah,
you.
we're sitting there and we're like, oh yeah, you see those?
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah, and like I like the colors were great too. And I'm a fan of anything 80s. Like I love just like 80s everything. I love 80s music. I love 80s styles, which
not
are
80s hard.
I'm
Not
glad
80s
that
hard.
the 80s rang out. That was
definitely
definitely.
did.
Oh yeah, I mean I
our,
picked up on that.
inspiration, you know, and not
Yeah.
necessarily going out with the mindset of, oh, let's make an 80s film.
No,
but,
no, no.
You know, having those influences from
Yeah.
the John Carpenters,
Yep.
the Wes Cravens, you know.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the, when we first started coming up with the concepts for this film, we talked about Italian horror and the Giallo brand and Fulci and Bava and using these, you know, big, bold colors and scenes.
Yes.
Romero with Creepshow and how they stylized that. So there's a very stylistic approach, I think, to making the film, and what we were trying to do was really, you know, just grab the audience and shake
Yeah.
them up a little bit and not hold back, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
just really be in your face, kind of over the top with it. And we viewed this, I think, from the get-go as a almost like a larger concept for people. You know, like, hey, this is the short. This is a proof of concept.
Yeah.
Right. This could be a feature. If you like it, this is a taste.
Yeah.
So hopefully people want more of that.
want
We
more.
wanted more.
Well, listen,
Definitely.
I definitely want to throw to a trailer.
Yeah, for sure.
Of Dead Air. So take a look at the trailer from Dead Air.
On the early evening of Halloween 1984, Roxanne Ruzio, aka Rockin' Roxanne, threw herself from Eddie Stone's office window. When she died, he vowed that this station would stay on the air. And not only does WRXN live on, but on Halloween night, so does Roxanne.
Thank the Lord above and the devil below.
Did you like my song? Turn on, tune in.
Drop dead.
Okay, I'm seriously starting to get creeped out now. Can we please change it?
Haha, everyone's a critic.
So that was
Awesome.
a trailer
Yeah, I
from
just-
Dead Air. You listen, you guys.
I just enjoyed watching it all over again.
I know. I know. And my
so
song was playing.
It was.
The song was playing.
Definitely was. So what was your favorite part of making the film? Both of you guys.
Wanna
Favorite
take
part.
that one?
I mean, I like all parts of production, to be
Okay.
honest. So I don't know if it really matters which film is getting done. I like doing the pre-production planning, making sure all those elements are in a row, and you're trying to plan ahead as much as possible. But Murphy's Law is always in effect. So regardless how much you plan, things are bound to go wiry. But you know, when you put the effort into it, you minimize the damage. Being on set is always always a blast. The chaos and beauty of it all is it's there. And especially like we had a bunch of different locations, and those were a lot of fun to be in the the gas station. I could tell you like there are a few incidents that happened
Yeah?
that were fun. Yes.
Now they're fun.
Now they're
moment, now they've been
They
fun.
weren't fun at the time when the cops showed up in the fire department.
Oh, that's
but,
right.
You know, that's,
Yeah, I think you mentioned that in the Q&A. I think you talked about that briefly.
Yeah, but you guys know, like there's nothing like being on set, like seeing
Yeah.
the page come to
Yep.
life and it gets put
Yep.
in action. And then of course in post-production when you're sitting there and seeing it all come together, piecing it together and making it be reborn again. I
Yeah.
mean, there's not one moment of production that I don't love. So it's just like, it's hard to say for this film specifically. It's like in general, like I don't know why everyone doesn't work in film.
Right.
No, it's a great gift and it's an honor, you know, especially to be with so many people and you're working as a team. I think that's really my favorite part is you have all of these different talents that are coming together, you know, and any film is only going to be stronger with the more people that you bring on who come with all the experience that they have. You know, the trailer that we saw was edited by my good friend and old roommate, Don Thiel, who lives in Hollywood now. And, you know, Donnie came in and cut this trailer together and it's just like, wow, you know, you made this film look much bigger than it is. You know,
Yeah.
this makes it look, I hope,
no,
not like
it
a
does the
short
job,
film.
yeah.
You know, and everything from the people who just came in like Matt and Kent doing the titles, that came out of left field, but they were passionate about it, and I said, just let's do it, let's run with it. If you guys have a vision, let's talk it through, and it worked.
The classic cars in the drive-in, having
Yes.
those on
Yeah.
set were
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah,
too.
we went to it was down at a classic car show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where'd you guys
and
get those?
Spoke with one of the owners who owned one of the cars, and Dena reached out to a family friend, and they said, yeah, we'd love to have the car in the film. So I think it's like, to your point, it's really the entire process where you're going through the pre-production of planning everything, getting excited about it, and slowly seeing this big plan unravel. And then you get to set and you have that excitement of everybody being in the same place at the same time, working toward the same cause and pulling together and pulling long hours and doing crazy things and setting off smoke alarms so that the fire department comes, and you work
It's not
you
a
work
film
through.
set unless that happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah, eating pizza
left.
and donuts
Yeah,
3 days in a
something- right.
row. Like what?
Yeah, something's got to happen.
But that feeling of creating family,
Right.
Once
absolutely.
you spent that much time working with people and you've had so many conversations and experiences, and
How long did it
it's
take
just a thrill.
you guys to film it?
2 weekends.
2 weekends.
That's it.
2 weekends. So the first thing we shot was Kev the Creep scene at the garage, and that was 1 day. And then we came here to LMC TV and we shot all of our concert footage of Roxanne and her, World from Another Dimension, Stage from Another Dimension,
Here in
rather.
the studio.
Okay. Yeah.
And so she was on this very stage where we shot it. And then the fun part was trying to figure out how we were going to shoot a drive-in theater.
Yeah.
And we went through the process of reaching out to all different drive-ins in the area, which none are close.
Right.
So that would require a 1 hour, 1 hour plus company move
Yeah.
just to get there. Then you
Yeah.
have all the setup. So I was looking out the window one day and I said, well, there's a big field there. We know people have a blow-up screen. We can bring in cars. And our good friend Joe Carrera built these incredible old-style drive-in speakers that were made out of PVC pipe and wood. And the whole thing came together. And then weekend 2 was Westchester Community College, where we had the radio station. 2 days of
Yes,
shooting.
the radio station at West. Yes, okay. I always like to ask artists this question: what their approach to certain things they were doing. So, like Dena, for you, when you got the footage or you got the film, what was your approach to editing the movie?
I watched a lot of 80s horror films.
Nice, perfect. Which one was the go-to?
I don't know. I had I think a list of
You had a list?
movies to
Good,
watch
okay.
and get through.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
That's hilarious.
And report back to the
Yeah.
masters of horror, Matt and Chris, who have all these films memorized already. So I was a little
That is
behind in the
really
curve
funny.
on my horror knowledge. But when you're cutting, it's just like you're following the script, you're following the director's plan for it with the storyboard or the shot list to know what the vision was. But then it's also well, how does it look, and then making it work from there and moving it around. So it's more intuitive than anything else once you have something together to see what else needs to be done in order to get time, pacing,
Yeah.
or the jump effects to work. Yeah.
And I would say on my end, entrusting in you and the post-production process of saying, I think when you set out to make a film, you have an idea of what it is in your head.
Yeah.
But once you've shot the film, you're not always getting that product.
Exactly.
Right.
So
That's
you have
true.
to work with the tools that you have
Yep.
and what
You
you've
do.
captured, and that's really the job of an editor. Where you don't, I'm not the kind of person. Hopefully, you'd agree with this. Where it's like I'm over your shoulder constantly. All right, what do we have? I think it's more of a let Dena do the first pass. Let's put this together. And usually the first pass is trying to be as close to the storyboards as possible, and then going in and trying to do the tweaks to say, okay, this is what we have. This is what we've captured. This is the way that we can hopefully tell the best story possible.
Yeah, because sometimes what's on the page and then what's in the product is not the same thing.
Correct.
At all.
And that can be very disconcerting a little bit, but also
Yeah.
too, I look at it, and I was saying this to Matt earlier, I love editing. I think it's,
That's
to
all
me
her.
personally, even
It's
with
all her.
photos when I was doing freelance, it's the most creative part of the process in a way, because you're really constructing the story. You're building the story. But I remember when I was coming here to edit our film, and I would sit there and I'd be like, I don't remember shooting that. Wait, where is the scene where, and I have to then go through all the scenes and all the footage all over again. I'm like, but it was here yesterday, where is it? And just trying to piece it together, but when you finally have it together and it's cohesive and it's pretty and the transitions work perfectly, you feel really good about it.
Yeah.
You know? So take us to opening night, your screening. I know you guys were like super excited. What was going through your mind? How'd you feel?
Well, that was just I go back to when we did Sobrevivo at Pelham Picture House.
Sobrevivo was a huge learning curve, especially like learning about the festival run with that, how with short films, how length matter and things like that. But yeah, like being back at the Pelham Picture House was kind of a throwback to that moment.
It's just a great feeling of having all the people who made the film, all the people who supported the film, you know, in the past and moving forward, and to sit there and watch together again with that family of people that's worked on this so hard and put their heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears into and money, you know, and you hope that everybody enjoys the product and is proud of the work. And I think that at the end of the night, at least from what we heard, that was the case.
Yeah.
So.
Were you nervous at all? Like, did you have a moment as a filmmaker where you were like,
thank you.
Good look selection.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was very solid.
But did you have a moment where you had like butterflies, like for a second, split second, like any doubt, like nervous, like, oh, this is my baby, now all these people are watching this, like almost like protective over it in a way, like you didn't want it to be judged, or like you were afraid of what people were gonna think? Like, as I often think about that too when we have our first screening, like, ooh, it's a very vulnerable moment.
It is.
You know?
I think we had confidence in the film mainly because of the success in the film festival run.
Right. Okay.
And so there was some lead up to that. And if this was the first time where audiences had really seen it, you know, then I'd feel a little bit on edge, more on edge about it. My main concern for that night was, you know, is everything going to be set up right? Is the photographer there and running around? And again, it was another production.
Right.
So you're thinking of all these elements. Is everything going to come together? And at the end of the night, you know, as it always does,
it was perfect.
It worked.
Yeah.
So.
That was awesome. Well, you know, we were really impressed. We loved it. And I think the general consensus of the audience was that everyone loved it as well.
Thank you.
But we want to show you.
Well, I'm going to throw to a clip from the film Dead Air. Take a look.
Did you like my song? Oh no! Don't worry. I've had so much time to work on my material. I have symphonies in my head. Might let you hear one. You might even become one.
Tanya? Tanya, please tell me that's you.
It's me.
She almost took it up.
How is this real? How is any of this real?
So that was a clip from Dead Air.
I'm
That's the
nervous
first
all
time we
over
see
again.
the spirit of Roxanne.
Yeah.
On screen. So I got one last question, and this is probably the biggest question,
The most important.
the most important, right?
Carries a lot of weight.
Carries a lot of weight.
It's a deal breaker.
Matt, first you.
Sir.
What is your favorite scary movie? I know.
Well, you put me on the spot.
I know.
That is a tough one.
It's a tough one.
And I go back and forth with it because I am I allowed to throw out two?
You can give me two. Yes.
We're being
I'll
generous
take it.
here.
We are being
All
generous,
right.
but
There
it's a big show.
is the brilliance of Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, which I think led me down a path of many nightmares. And I still remember waking up as a kid. I was very young when I watched the film. I was not supposed to see it, but somehow I did. And I can thank my cousin Matt for that. But, you know, on top of that, there's a great flick called Night of the Creeps. I have many posters in my office. This was a film, another one that I saw as a kid, and for years, I didn't know the name of this film. And I said, it was like a life mission of mine to find out what the name was.
Right.
So this was before the internet existed and before you can type everything into your phone and get answers immediately. And I was at a show that I was working on. I was in the writer's office, and she had this poster of Night of the Creeps. And I looked up at it, and I went, that's the one! And she looked at me like, all right, this guy's crazy. He's fired. You know?
Oh, no.
And I had to explain the whole story. Like, I watched this as a kid. And
You may have been fired, but you got the name of the movie.
Yeah,
Ultimate life
and
goal.
she's like, oh, my husband worked on this. And she said, when she was off the show, she came to my office and said, do you want my Night of the Creeps poster?
Man.
I said, you bet I do.
Oh,
And it's in my office right now.
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's awesome.
D,
Yeah.
favorite
Same question.
scary movie?
I can't say, I can never answer this question in any genre because it's like,
Yes,
well,
it's
because you
hard,
have to
I
pick
know.
it apart. It's like, it can't be the best drama. It has to be the best drama with these
Oh, God.
parameters or,
course.
you know, so it's really difficult. But I have to say, the horror movie that I've seen the most is the original, the 70s Night of the Living Dead. And I've seen that the most because that was the VHS tape that we had, the only horror tape we had in our home growing up. So when Halloween rolled around, it was like, all right, I guess we'll put the tape in, rewind it back from last year's
That's
Halloween and watch.
hilarious.
But I've yet to not be impressed by it every time I watch it. I really appreciate that movie, and as I get older, I appreciate it for different reasons because it's like, man, this movie actually speaks a lot to like the society and times if you pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's a classic.
for those reasons, that's why I would say Night of the Living Dead.
Very nice. I didn't want to hit you too hard with the questions, but I thought that was a good one to
Excellent.
good one
It's good to end on,
good
you
to end
know?
us off. Guys, thank you for joining us for another Scriptly Adapted Uncut. I'm Kayode.
I'm Kate.
Thank you, Matt Sullivan,
Yes,
Dena Schumacher,
thank you
Big
so
Show
much.
Feel. Join us next time for another episode of Scriptly Adapted
And stay
Uncut
tuned.
here at LMC TV.
Yes.
Later.
Take care. Bye.